Okay, so we're doing another black work tattoo feature today. A little bit of black work keeps the doctor away.
Right? I have a hard time talking about the black work, but I will do my best.
I don't know why that is. You have a mostly blackout sleeve and you like blackout tattoos.
I love blackout. I love it.
This should be easy for you.
It should be easy.
You know more about them than most people.
I actually really do. I think the problem is I just don't want to get boring and nerdy. But we'll go into this little email here. It says, "Hey Remy, update. Finished elbow and up to the armpit. How's it looking? Hand definitely needs a second pass. Elbow finish should. Love your content." So
let's see this
like
hand here.
Hand.
Yeah.
Zoom
So
in on it. Definitely needs a second pass. They're
if
right.
not a third, you'll be very lucky to get away with two. And that's not just you. That's not unique to you. Don't worry, and don't take it personally either. Don't think that your hand looks bad. Your hand looks good for one pass.
Hands are hard.
I had a friend here who was working on his black arm for quite a long time. He sent in progress as it was going, and he's finally gotten his hand to a place where he's happy with it. I think they did 5 passes. So it's different depending on if you're covering things, what your skin is like, if you work with your hands for a living, you know.
How much callus you have.
Yeah, like if you're a dainty, pretty young girl that takes care of your skin and you've never worked a day in your life.
If I black out my hands,
your hand will go real easy.
They'll probably
You've got
be,
nice soft skin on your hands.
Easy. I don't have any work lines or anything
My
like that.
My hands are dog shit.
How many passes is your black hand?
Oh, I don't even know, but it's a different case for me to begin with because mine were full color.
Yeah.
Right? So like I had done probably 6 or 7 passes on my hands and fingers before I even got to the fucking black.
Super crazy. Super crazy. And yeah, you're dealing with weird scar tissue and shit like that. So.
I don't love this lighting for this photo.
Yeah.
It's you know, you did a good job of taking the picture. This is a great picture of an arm for like if you're trying to make a cool picture, but like it's really hard to see what any of the black looks like.
If you were facing the other direction, so if you were taking the photo the other way, so if the bright background wasn't in the background of the photo, and like let's see, it's probably a house. If the house was in the background, we would have been able to see this more clearly and see
shadowed.
what's going on. Yeah, I think is that a tree at the top of the hand there?
Yeah, it's a silhouette tree or whatever, but like I think they should have a more tattered finish at the top of this. I think like a fade off.
Into
I don't like.
Pit.
Yeah, I mean even just do the pit if you want, but I mean I don't like the clean cut line at the end.
I want to get rid of the tree.
Well, I mean they did the tree intentionally.
I know.
This looks like it was an arm that was. I don't know if did they say if they were covering anything? I don't even remember.
Update.
Yeah, this looks like it might have been a blackout just like on negative space.
Well, yeah, if you can't remember what it was before. Sorry, guys.
It's hard to have these negative space tattoos with old tattoos, so I would assume that this is straight to black. No, not a cover-up.
Straight to black.
Straight to black. Yeah.
And then same thing, like this.
This is another hard one to judge.
And with this photo, again, same thing. So if the person taking the photo was on the other side, the photo would have turned out a lot better because your photo is catching all of that light. And yeah. So
I just think that like it's a nice picture, but it's not an easy picture to judge blackout in.
Yeah, we can't really see what's going on here.
So I can't really give a say on what's going on. It looks decent, but yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah. This one's a little better, but still same problem.
Too shadowed.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of the arm that's obscured.
Yeah,
it looks good enough, and I can safely assume that if they got that black one pass on the hand, the rest of the arm is probably pretty good. But I can't really see it.
Yeah.
There's rare spots on this arm that are illuminated.
The bright background is totally fucking us. So, too bad. All right.
Okay.
So let us move on.
So this dude actually came in to meet me recently.
Oh, okay.
As a little note.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So this says, "Hey guys, love the show. I just moved to Lethbridge from Calgary for school. Awesome. I'm going to come check out the shop today. Thought I'd send in some photos of my newest 3rd tattoo 1 week after the first session. There's still some peeling going on, so any wavy lines would be from that. I'll also send updates as soon as I get more done. The current blackout section is covering my 2nd ever tattoo. We're going to do the other arm in a couple of weeks. We are also going to do some white over the blackout, but I gave the artist lots of freedom, so I'm not sure what she's planning. There will also be a black design that extends above the blackout sections and will cover my first tattoo. The small face on my right arm, again, I'm not sure what she's planning, but I asked for something floral. The black bit on the back of my hand is also covering a small tattoo. Each arm will be slightly different to break the symmetry a little bit. Cool.
I know, as I told this guy when he came in, get some black on the black with the white.
Yeah.
And if I were you, I would wait for this to settle a little. It will be easier. That being said, as we found out here at the shop recently, we did my head red and the thorns on my head within 4 weeks of blacking it out.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go pretty fucking quick if you want.
Yeah.
That being said, I would just enjoy the black for its own sake for a while. He's really jumped in where he has almost no tattoos. I don't think that emoji face up there is going to be long for the world.
No, I think it's leaving soon.
Yeah, it will be gone before he can even blink an eye. I don't care what he thinks is going to happen. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Me and a friend of mine were talking about this. Similar to me, he had no desire to do blackout tattoos at one point, and the minute he started, now he's wanting to do a lot more.
Hooked.
So that face he may as well not be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if any of these lines are going to matter. Like, he'll extend that line up top farther, and then he'll extend it farther, and then it'll just keep growing.
Was this getting done in Lethbridge or Calgary?
I think this was done in Calgary.
Did they say what artist was doing it?
Yeah.
I know they didn't say in the message. Oh, I'm just curious because me in Calgary. I
don't think.
For a while. I don't think
it's a blackwork specialist or anything. I think it's just a decent artist, and
I'm just curious.
This is all still healing. And when he came in, it was still healing, and kind of asked me what I thought of it. And like I say, when it's still healing, it's really hard to tell. These blacks take a while to mellow out. There's actually just a video that came up today. On I think it's Pony Lawson's channel, where they did 4 circles, 4 squares of gradients, and 3 strips of lines with, I think it was 4 different black inks, and they were seeing which ones went in darkest and which ones healed darkest, and within a month they hadn't even changed that much.
Oh, interesting.
So like, black takes a while to settle. I'll be curious if they do a follow-up on that in a year, because then there will be a lot more divergence in the coloration of the inks.
Yeah, because then one of them's going to be a blue-black, one of them will be more green.
So blacks in particular, colors don't do this quite as much, contrary to popular belief. Colors stay closer to the color they were put in. They just fade off a little. Blacks actually change colors. They actually change quite a bit.
Well, because black is usually made up of a very concentrated version of a color.
They'll either, and then depending on your skin tone too, will change that. But you'll go it can go greeny or gray or.
Oh yeah.
It's
if you look at
black.
my blackout, it probably has more of a green, and yours has more of a blue.
Yep.
And I think that we've got the same black in us.
Nope. Yours was done with Panthera. Mine was done with Dynamic.
Oh, I thought we used the same purposely. Oh.
No. Yours was done with Panthera because you were going to keep yours black.
Yeah.
Mine was done with Dynamic, and we were going to cover mine.
Yeah.
Although there were some funny choices made in some of the shading. But
I think that was an accident.
Yeah. Anyway, that doesn't really make much difference. The point of the matter is that black. There are some pictures of my arms when they were fairly fresh where they were pitch black. They're not pitch black anymore.
No, they have a little bit of a blue, very fair blue tint to them now.
That's what happens.
Very slight, and it's cool too because your red is actually a bit of a purpley red, like a very burgundy because of that. Yeah,
well, it's all coloring together, right?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I don't know. I think that guy, I think if he does the white on black, I hope that he listens to me and does black on black with it.
Right. That's why I'm kind of curious who the artist is, just what kind of ego we're dealing with and whatever. But, So we'll go to the next email. It says, hey, this one's from Nat Van. It says, hey, love your channel. I've been obsessing over black for ages, and seeing you so open and so genuine about the process and healing helped me pull the trigger. Start on my blackout. The fingers were not a fun time, but very keen to continue. Photo taken about 2 hours after done. Cheers. The video and experience sharing.
So 2 hours after is better than 2 days after, but you really want to get these things fresh or after they're healed, because the inflammation sets in pretty quick on these, and then you have this kind of fishy looking monstrosity.
Sausage fingers.
It's more than sausage fingers. That whole thing looks like a big slab of meat.
I'm really bummed. Yeah.
I liked that they did the white nails. I think they did that on purpose for this to make it more
I was going to comment
drastic.
on them. They look wicked.
Yeah, they do look cool.
When it's finished, I think you should do the white nails again and take like a after photo, because I really want to see
Except it will never be this way.
Oh, never, ever.
There's no way to get your fingers actually this black, so it would never be this contrast. The only way to get this photo is when they're fresh.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So there's absolutely no way. That being said, the minute you start this, you're signing on to doing it several times at least, and like that's why I don't recommend doing fingers to just anyone, like blackout fingers. You can tattoo your fingers, get some script or whatever. That's a little less severe. But when you get into this, you've taken on something that will need to be done until you're okay with living with it.
Yeah, until it gets to a point where you're like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
I can't remember at this point, but we always talk about dotting in the fingers and how that might be better.
Well, you dot. What would be good would be to incorporate some dots later to get to places that are harder to saturate with a mag.
Yeah.
But that being said, dotting your fingers straight up, they'll look very piecey.
But afterwards,
There's a great picture of dot and mag shaded palms that Hood did, and both of them look disgusting for different reasons, because you'd have to do both of them many times, and you'd have to do dots and mag shading to get that super solid, I think. So you're opening up a can of worms. Like, if you black out your palm, that's a lifestyle thing now.
you're
That's
just
6-7
keep
times.
doing it over and over.
Eventually you get it saturated,
Yeah.
but it's not going to be any time. So people think that what happens is they just keep fading, and so you have to keep touching them up.
No.
That's not the case with anything. It's once it's saturated, it's good. I have not touched up these fingers once since I finished them, and they look about the same as they did.
They actually do. It's
They don't
true.
really
haven't
look any
changed.
different. That it took 3 passes to get them to this point.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I had to do 3 passes because they kept fading, though. That means they weren't saturated the first time. They weren't saturated the second time. Once it's saturated, it's like anything else.
And
It's
some
not like,
parts are harder to saturate than
it's not like
others.
rubbing on my pants hard is going to take the ink out.
Yeah.
People think that the friction that you get through life does something. You have to get like deep cuts to take out the ink.
Well, and I think that only the friction of life, I think, only happens on the not the palm, but
Not
the
even
side,
the palm.
the side of the palms. So like I've seen people have those ones for like a year, and then they'll get into a job that they're using their hands more, and then all of a sudden it's gone.
Well, I mean, I think it's a case of just getting it in deep enough. I have a friend who has the bottoms of his feet tattooed, and they're incredibly solid.
Crazy.
He's the only person I've ever seen like that. But I don't even know how many times he did it.
Was it full blackout bottom of feet? Or just
So he
designs?
has a honeycomb pattern on the top of one of his feet,
Wicked.
and a honeycomb pattern on the bottom of his other feet.
Oh, that's
foot.
cool. You'll have to show me.
That fella in particular, I believe, enjoys pain, though.
Yeah,
and I mean,
I don't think the bottom of the feet would feel nice.
I don't mean enjoys it as I like pain as a sport. I think he likes pain as I think he enjoys it in a different way.
Yeah, okay. In the
That
way
being-
that people imagine you like pain.
Some of them, yeah, but him for real.
Yeah.
But anyway, for whatever the case is, anything can be done.
Yeah.
And once you do have it done well enough, it's not a matter of you have to touch it up your entire life. It's about putting in the reps to get there, and once you're there, it's mostly good. Like, I get
makes
so
sense.
many people who are like, how are your palms keeping? Like, I have to get those touched up regularly? It's like, no.
No.
you don't have to get them touched up regularly. You just have to get them done enough that they're in there.
Yeah, unless you're like a sun worshiper.
Yeah, but
Or
that's
you're like, out there really. I think that if you're like really callousing up your hands, like if you were doing like a shoveling kind of job, you might have to get your calluses touched up.
well, callus is different. So like I have a few spots on my thumbs that have been tattooed over a dozen times, and they'll always push
Eventually fall out. Yeah.
And Terry thinks, because he's a big dick swinging, he's like, so if I can saturate that spot on your thumb, then I'm a badass. And I'm like, well, you can always try, but no one's
tried it?
Yeah, he's done it 3 times. I have one on this side right now. And whenever he tattoos it, it deflates almost like you popped a balloon. But then it grows up again and it goes back to beige.
Interesting.
So he told me actually what he did on one of his calluses is he took a nail clipper and he like cut it off before tattooing over it.
You guys can't see my face, but it's pretty awful right now.
And
That sounds gross.
it actually, he said it took, because the callus wasn't there, he could get in deep enough before the callus came back that when the callus grew over it, the ink was underneath of it.
You gonna X-Acto knife that callus off sometime?
Well, I mean, I don't care that much, but if
I'm curious.
I was really curious, I think we could do it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.